welcome all members present at this meeting, of course starting from my Vice Principal, Ms. Mtarani, our school governing body, our head of department members, our union representative, our class teachers, and as well as our student leader present at this meeting. This meeting was called upon to address and find alternative solutions in the challenges that we are facing as the school. One of the challenges that we are facing as a school, number one, is the issue of late coming. Number two is the issue of teachers not adhering to their daily preparations. Number three, learners are being pinched. Number four, we have the issue of learners being chased out of their classroom, of which we all know that that one is wrong. According to the Learners Code of Conduct, one of its general rules states that disruption of classes cannot be tolerated. But then we cannot shy away from the fact that it's one of their basic rights to learn. So chasing them out is not a measure to mitigate the issue of late coming or misbehaving. As I give the floor to my Deputy Principal, Ms. Mtarani, I thank you all.
Greetings to the House at large. Standing before you is Ms. Mtarani, the Deputy Principal of the school. As the principal has mentioned the issue of late coming, I am here to tackle down that issue because as a school we've noticed that it's becoming a tendency for our learners to be late, which is very disruptive to the class. According to the South African Schools Act number 84 of 1996, it states that it is the school's governing body responsibility to make sure that the learners are punctual. It also gives the principal the right to take steps in dealing with late coming in schools. Me and the principal have came up with resolutions to this issue. Of course, our resolutions are a part of the South African Schools Act. So, according to the Act of 1996, it states that if a student is late for the first and the second time, they should write an oral presentation stating the reasons of being late. We will also use this measure because this will help us as teachers and parts of the schools committee to engage and know the reasons of our learners being late to class and school. Another measure that we have taken into consideration is that if a learner is late for several times, they will be taken to detention. This will form a part of punishment as we are trying by all means to stay away from corporal punishment. Some of the strategies include taking students to disciplinary hearings whereby the parents will be involved, as we try by all means to involve parents in everything that we do. Lastly but not least, if there is any other case that the learner is making it a habit to come late, we've taken part that we will make the student do community work such as picking up papers or clean up the classroom during or after break time. Lastly, we all know that late coming is a bad influence in our class and it brings a bad picture in the school's record. So we are going to deal with this and the students will face the consequences of this act. I'm leaving the podium to Ms. Mazibuko, the HOD. I thank you
all. Respected guests, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Standing before you is Ms. Mazibuko, the school HOD. It is my responsibility to ensure that our school maintains the highest standards of education. Unfortunately, I must address the issue of teachers who do not adequately prepare before their classes. We all know that preparation is the cornerstone of effective teaching. important to prioritize proper preparation to provide our students with better education which they deserve. Act number 24 of 2005 says the HOD must take reasonable measures to protect the rights of learners. There are some measures we have taken to address this issue. Firstly, the school should provide support and feedback to the teachers. Secondly, if a teacher consistently fails to prepare before their classes, despite that, I may be forced to take or implement consequences. This could include monitoring them and more formal disciplinary action if necessary. Another thing is to monitor and evaluate teachers' preparation by observing classes, reviewing lesson plans, and collecting feedback from students. Thank you. Let us all commit to upholding the standards of excellence in our school.
Okay, Head of Department Deputy, I would like to thank SMT for this opportunity and also acknowledge chairs, Principal, Deputy Principal, SGB, Student Leader, Protocol observed. I'm against teachers who do not prepare for class, as these teachers bring failure to our children. According to South African Constitution of South Africa, every child has a right for basic quality education. We can't allow to have teachers who are incompetent and not serious about their work, as these teachers may lead our children to fail. Teachers are supposed to respect their profession and work hard. Thank you.
As I go back in the appeal today, I'm going to speak about pinching of learners. In South Africa, corporal punishment such as pinching is strictly prohibited. The Constitution of South Africa and South African School Act of 1996 emphasize the right of children and the dignity of children and the interest of children. So, yeah, it is very important to educate everyone about legal implication to avoid pinching. And I'm with my colleague. My colleague is going to tell us more about legal implications that we must take as teachers to avoid pinching. Thank you.
Greetings to you all. I'm Ms. Nobula, a grade 12 class teacher. As Mr. Njulela has said, that corporal punishment is strictly prohibited in South African schools. I am going to highlight the legal implications and the negative effects of corporal punishment on learners. As we all know that corporal punishment can have several negative effects on learners, such as physical harm, emotional and psychological effects, normalization of the violence, as well as the negative impact on learning. So instead of resorting to corporal punishment, alternative disciplinary measures can be implemented, such as positive reinforcement, conflict resolution strategies, counseling, as well as the restorative justice practices. We are encouraging open communication between teachers, students, as well as parents that can also help in addressing behavioral issues effectively. It is crucial to create a supportive and respectful learning environment that upholds the rights and well-being of all learners. In line with the principles of the South African Education Legislation Constitution, by that we can ensure
I'm Mr. Smogosa Debe, a substitute in the school. I can hear the comrade SMT are complaining that teachers are not adhering to daily preparation. Let me give you a small advice from a local desk. If you are failing to do your task, you'll be charged and there is nothing you can do to defend your own debt. According to Circular 1 of 2016, there is a progressive discipline for such behavior or conduct, and that's done can lead to dismissal if you continue with such. And then coming to you again, Comrade SMT, can I give this suggestion as to improve this conduct of these educators? According to South African School Act of 1996, which promotes access to education, democratic governance in the schooling system, it is compulsory for teachers to come to class prepared for the benefit of students. Lastly, can we arrange a workshop to help teachers on how to plan or do their lesson plan simply?
Greetings to everyone. My name is Brian. I am a student leader. Our principal has mentioned many problems that our school currently facing. As a student leader, I will address the issue of those children who are playing chess out in the classroom because they misbehave. Section 29 of the Constitution of South Africa states that everyone has the right to education and should be able to benefit from educational opportunities. But our teachers are violating this right by chasing out problematic learners during teaching and learning. Leader, I believe that teachers must not chase out problematic learning in the classroom, but they must come out with strategies which will make those learners behave well during teaching and learning. For example, teachers must build a positive relationship with learner so that learner can feel more comfortable and behave well. What I've noticed in the schools that there is a lack of positive relationship between students and teachers, which make it difficult for learner to behave well. Thank you.
All. My name is Sandesi Kumalo, the SGP member. As we all know that the role of the SGP is to govern and control the school's regulation. According to the Act 89 of 1996, it states that we as SGP members must support the principal, educators and other staff members in performing their duties successfully. We must also ensure that there is a clarity and a strategic decision making in all these problems that we are facing. The principal may also take disciplinary action against teachers and learners who are not complying with the law. As I leave the stage to the SGP member who will elaborate further. Thank you.
So all standing in front of you is talented SGP member. As principal has already mentioned the major issues that the school is facing, I'll just go straight to the issue of learners who fail to adhere punctuality and also teachers who come to class unprepared. According to Act 50 of 2002, Section 4, says that a learner must be accompanied by his or her parent or a person designated by a parent at a disciplinary proceeding, unless a good cause is shown by a governing body for a continuation the proceeding in an absence of a parent or a person designated by a parent. I'm against the learners who fail to adhere to punctuality. Therefore, I think a school should establish a clear and consistent policy on punctuality for all learners, including consequences for a repeated lateness. And also, a principal should work together with an administration to establish a system to track and address the punctuality issue among learners. Coming to an issue of teachers who come unprepared to class. As an SGP member, I'll encourage those teachers to engage in lesson planning and prepare material in advance to ensure a productive learning environment. And also, I think the best thing that a principal can do is to provide a support and training to those teachers who may fail to manage their time when it comes to classroom. I thank you.
Again, as my colleagues have argued, the several measures that must be taken into place to mitigate these issues or challenges that we are currently facing in the school. I, as the principal, will make sure that those measures will be taken into consideration. I thank you all for attending this meeting again.